Good morning. Welcome to morning yoga. My name is Megan. I'm going to talk this morning quickly about the moon. We are in the first quarter moon. I think it happens in about an hour. Actually, right now, it's happening right now. So first quarter moon, we talked about this on Monday. If we think about the new moon as the energy of winter and being really self-reflective, we're here in this first quarter where it's like spring and it's time to start planting some seeds, getting your intentions really deeply rooted. So we'll end class today with another space for setting intentions or to come back to your intention. And also it is April Fool's, so just a reminder there. But I like to start today with a practice I learned from one of my teachers, Katie Silcox, which is a self-regulating practice. Just anything or something you can do if you're feeling maybe a little overwhelmed, just to bring you back to yourself and to check back in. So find a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Again, I'm sitting on a blanket. You could sit on the floor. You could even be sitting in a chair. And then once you find yourself comfortable in a seat, you might let your eyes close or just relax your gaze. And then we'll look for that tall spine. So once again, coming to the sit bones and feeling them either sinking down into your prop, into the floor, or your chair. And we bring our thoughts to that part of our hair that swirls, that's on the crown of our head, and we lift that up toward the ceiling. Feeling length along the entire spine, including the cervical to the neck. And then with this tall spine, bringing one hand to your heart, placing it on the breastbone. Just take a moment to feel this connection from your hand's perspective, feeling what it feels like to be placed on your chest. And from your chest, maybe the little compression from your hand. Feel free to leave your hand right here, or maybe it feels right for you to start a gentle rub side to side. Across the heart, across the breastbone. Nice and gentle. Nourishing rub. You might notice what this feels like, where you feel the sensations in your chest. The quality of the sensations. Just being really in tune with what's happening at the heart space. And if you're still finding motion with the hands, when that feels complete, we'll meet back with hand on the chest. Maybe you bring the opposite hand to join by placing it on the hand that's on your chest. Taking a full inhale through your nose, filling your lungs entirely. Exhale. Full breath in. And exhale. On this next inhale, set the intention to be at your heart space. Breathe out. This next inhale, maybe set the intention to meet your truth. And breathe out. This next inhale, keeping the intention of staying at the heart. And just taking these full breaths. Keeping yourself rooted in your heart space. Maybe allowing an intention to come from here. If you're not sure, you might even ask, what is my heart's desire? If you'd like to know, maybe, how can I be of service right now? Trust what arises. And let it go. Thanking your inner wisdom. And then when you're ready, allowing your eyes to begin to flutter open, releasing hands from the chest, and just start to bring some movement to the hands, maybe starting to wiggle the fingers a bit. And then working up toward the wrists, finding a couple of circles through your wrists. And if you want to take this a little bit bigger, maybe coming up to elbows. Really just moving in a way that awakens the body. If we were thinking about that spring-like energy, it's just waking up. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to your legs, palms down. Lift shoulders up to your ears, roll them down and back. A little lift to the swirly part of your head, and then bring your right ear toward your right shoulder. Feel shoulder blades pulling down your back. Nice stretch. To switch sides, just lower your chin through center, find a little half circle. And bring the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder. Lowering the chin back through center, coming back to the right side, right ear to right shoulder. From this shape, lower your chin toward your right shoulder. So we're looking down toward the ground. Continue to pull shoulder blades down the back, long. Gentle tuck of the chin, and then left ear to left shoulder. And then lowering your chin toward your left shoulder, looking down toward the ground. Lower your chin through center to release, and we'll lift up through center. Coming over top of your feet to find your tabletop from here. So again, we have this option of a blanket or a towel underneath the knees, or a little bit more little padding for underneath the knees if you'd like. Finding your tabletop. We look at wrists underneath of shoulders and knees underneath of hips. Pause here. Feel that length through the sit bones and the reach through the swirly part of the crown of your head. Almost feel like there's traction along your spine. So we find this tall spine first, this length, then come into your cat-cows. On your inhale, you might drop the belly and look forward. Exhale, press into your hands and around. Work with your breath, at your pace. Finding an arch and round through the spine. This is our spinal flexion and extension. 2 movements of the spine. Opening through front body, so we find spinal extension. Flexion of the spine, we open through back body. A few more breaths. When you're ready, we'll meet in your neutral tabletop. Lifting your toes up off the floor, bringing toes over to the right, you look over right shoulder. Feeling some opening maybe here. In the left side body. Lateral flexion of the spine. When you're ready, lifting toes or bringing them over to the left, looking over your left shoulder. Maybe you feel an opening in your right side body. Gentle lift of the toes and bring them back to center. Coming onto your belly from here, you might walk hands forward a bit, maybe knees back, start to lower through the hips. Or coming down, bringing chest toward the ground, and then bringing arms out to the side, lifting up on the fingertips. So feet might be a little wider than hip width here. On an inhale, lift your upper body. On an exhale, lower your right shoulder and look over left. So nice and gentle. Inhale, lift upper body. Exhale, lower left shoulder. Working between these two sides. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Take this one more time, each side, lift up. Lower your right shoulder. Lift up. And lower your left. Lift up through center, lower through center. You might take hand on hand and forehead on your hand, or maybe an ear on the mat. Just pause for a moment to let this settle. And we'll lift ourselves up, coming into Sphinx. This is on the forearms. So as much as we can, we think about the elbows underneath of the shoulders, the wrists directly out. If this bothers the lower back, you can separate the elbows a little bit wider. You can always come down as well, take the upper body down a bit. But while we're here in this shape, you might think about pressing hip bones into the ground, into the mat, tops of your feet into the mat, elbows and hands into the mat, and that lift through the swirly part of the crown of your head. From there, if you want, think about pulling elbows towards your body. As you lift through the crown of the head, elbows pull toward you. You might feel your breastbone pulling toward the front wall. Just a couple more breaths in this shape. When you're ready, we'll lower back down. So you might, again, lower an ear to the mat or take hand on hand and lower your forehead onto your hand. From here, bend the knees and take the feet side to side in a windshield wiper, helping to release lower back. Placing the legs back down onto the mat. Press up through tabletop to find your child's pose, bringing toes together and knees wide. We'll sit back on the heels. Arms might reach forward with forehead coming to the ground. If your forehead has found your mat, you might take a moment to rock your head side to side. Let it settle for a few moments. And then when you're ready, we'll come back up into tabletop. Feel free to stay in tabletop. Or if you'd like to find a downward dog, we'll tuck the toes, lift the hips into your upside down V. And maybe you start to pedal through heels here. Or maybe you stay still. And to help wake up the joints a little, we'll move between these shapes. On an inhale, we come into a wide knee tabletop. Exhale, sit back into your child's pose. Inhale into tabletop. And downward facing dog on this exhale. Inhale, tabletop. Wide knee. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, down dog. So let's take this one more time. Inhale into tabletop. Child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. And down dog. And from this downward dog, starting to walk your feet towards your hands. Bending your knees as much as you need. We'll meet in a forward fold. Maybe you want to separate your feet a little more in this forward fold, a little wider than hip width. Maybe keep the connection to the earth with your hands. Maybe they're on a prop, or maybe you grab an elbow in each hand. Option to move, to sway, stay still. But wherever we are, if we can, let the head go. Find a shake of the head, yes and no. And see if you can release any tension. If your arms are bound, release them down to the ground. Take a deeper bend in the knee. We'll walk hands up the legs as we roll through the spine to come to standing. I'm going to turn to face you in standing. When you're ready, inhale, arms above your head. Bring fingertips together. We exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, release the hands and bring them overhead. And exhale to heart. This time, inhale, arms above your head and grab your left wrist. I'm going to turn so you see from the back. Reach tall and then take a side stretch over to the right. Inhale, lift up through center, grab the right wrist, side stretches over to the left. Lift up through center and bring your hands toward the sacrum. Fingertips face down, shoulder blades down the back, elbows start to squeeze towards each other. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little here. I'm going to take a bend in the knees, squeeze elbows towards each other. Find a little lift of the chest. Maybe begin to press hips forward so you can find a little more space to lift the chin and chest. And then begin to bend through the knees and fold here. If you have space, you might want to clasp the hands and extend them toward the ceiling in the yoga mudra. Or leave hands on the sacrum or even release them to the earth. 2 more breaths. Your arms are bound, release them to earth. Take a step back to tabletop. We'll meet where we started, in a seat, maybe on your prop. Take a moment to settle. Let eyes close. Maybe you bring your hand back to your heart. On a deep inhale, set the intention to come into your heart space. On another deep inhale, set the intention of meeting your truth, your higher self, to meet love. In this space, either allow your intention to come back to mind, or maybe ask again, what is my heart's desire? Or maybe how can I be of service? Trust what arises. And the most important part, we let it go. We'll do that here with the cleansing breath, taking a deep inhale through your nose and let it out of your mouth. Closing out this morning with hands together in prayer, maybe bringing thumbs to your heart space to close that circuit. Honoring your heart, honoring your heart's intentions, honoring everyone who joined us today. Once again, honoring those on the front lines for this pandemic. Sending a wave of gratitude throughout. Thank you so much. Have a great Wednesday. Namaste.